Come on. Dial up. It's always a struggle for me. Well, there. It's paid. Finally, the invoice is paid. I got my rent paid. And now I don't have to get the IRS going after me. Gotta love dial-up. It's always slow and a pain in the butt. Glad that Magneto let me use his modem. You can have your seat back, Wolverine. Oh, someone's knocking on the door. Who is it? I gotta see who it is. Gotta look cool. Gotta look cool. There. Got my glasses on. Like cool sunglasses. Hi there, hope I didn't cause any interruptions. Oh, it's you, Cyclops! It's a shame I didn't bring my Sharpies with... Oh man, what a bummer. I would have gotten your autograph had I brought my Sharpies with. So, what brings you here, man? Well, I just wanted to drop by and be a part of the party while I wait for the burgers to get ready. Alright, you guys are having burgers as part of the party. Are you gonna have beer as well? Cause that would be rad. Don't worry, we're gonna have beer. Lots of beer. Yeah, and mainly one of the local brew. And some Busch Lights. Cause those are the kinds of beer that I like. Local brew and Busch Lights. I always stick to the local brew. Cool! I love me some Busch Lights. Anyways, I remember when you pulled off that laser blast in that game on the Super Nintendo. That was awesome. You pulled off that big, huge laser blast just like you would. Yeah, it was pretty cool, and it actually replicated the optic blast. Believe me, it's a more accurate representation of the optic blast than what they did on Sega. The one on Sega is pretty weak. It's a keyboard key. Give me the big, powerful optic blast any day. And it's optic blast, by the way, not laser blast. Anyways, can I come in? I like to party. Sure, just as long as if you don't have another run-in with Wolverine. Yeah, believe me, 90's kid wannabe. That won't happen again. It's all under control because it's a party. And we're supposed to have fun. But anyways, here I come. Say, have you by any chance played X-Men Mutant Apocalypse at all? Well, can't really remember the last time I played it, but it was still a great game. It was awesome. And yeah, I know the 90's kid. I'm not exactly a carbon copy of him. I've watched his videos. And I always love it when he says, "Dude, this game is awesome." Yeah, like when he said, "Dude, Doom is awesome." Yeah, I love 90's kid. He is one of my favorite heroes, and I wish I got to meet him in person. Yeah, I would be stoked to see 90's kid in person, man. It would be awesome, believe me. Yeah, I'd like to play X-Men Mutant Apocalypse on Super Nintendo, and yeah, I think it's more awesome and rad than the Sega games. And yeah, I owned both consoles, both Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I never understood those console wars pretty well. It's just pointless bickering, man. You have the right to own both systems. But I do have X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Let me see. I gotta see if I have the game. Yeah, I do. I have X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Pretty awesome game. Just take a seat by, any friend of yours, and I'll go ahead and play the game. Well, that sounds good to me. I love to sit by Gambit. I haven't been around him that much, and he seems like a good guy to chat, even if he does have the accent, but it's a pretty good accent. But anyways, enjoy your game while I have a chat with Gambit. Like that floating meme head said, cool and good. I'm gonna play X-Men Mutant Apocalypse right now. It is one of the most awesome X-Men games ever. Yeah. And I actually bought the game with my own money. Saved all that money up for that one awesome game. So let's go talk about it, shall we? Well, greetings yet again, awesome dudes. And if you're wondering about that TV, well, I had to take it over to my workplace, the Racer Cinema Video Store, Racer Cinema Rentals, aka Racer Cinema Video. And they wanted it as a display unit. So yeah, that's why the TV is gone. But anyways, I got the best X-Men game. Well, the best 90s X-Men game, in my opinion, called X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Yeah, the title just sounds rad, man. It is a cool sounding title, and yeah, Apocalypse is one of the main villains in the X-Men animated series itself, and even the comics. And he was always one of the more powerful villains in the series. He's like the 90s equivalent of Thanos. He's like this big bad dude that has the ability to change size, but the X-Men always seem to prevail. Yeah, I like to see another one of the X-Men change size, probably Rogue or Jean Grey, if you know what I mean. But anyways, got this awesome game. And it is a really cool game. A lot better than the Sega X-Men games in my opinion. And best of all, it's made by one of the best gaming studios ever, Capcom. And if you haven't known already, they've always been known to make great classics like Mega Man and Street Fighter games. Yeah, love the Mega Man games, but I don't play the Street Fighter games that much anymore. But I used to play them a lot when I was younger. So yeah, Capcom has an impressive library, and best of all, this game has some special moves that I'm going to show you while I get to review the game itself. And it is a unique idea that hasn't really been replicated that much in other games. But it's still cool though, and I used to play X-Men Children of the Atom a lot when I was younger. Had to save up a lot for my PlayStation. But it was at a time where I started getting a job and it was easier to save up for consoles. So yeah, it was all good in the hood. Anyways, let's bring on some mutant justice with X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Here we are, dudes and dudettes. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse on the Super Nintendo, made by good old Capcom. Oh look, there's the Capcom logo. Gotta love it. let's skip that cutscene and go straight to the game, shall we? Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What an awesome song to start a game. Yeah, this game has several different modes, and you can even play as several different characters. I'm gonna do the Wolverine stage first, because I always love playing as Wolverine in any game. Believe me, he's one of my favorite characters, X-Men. Yeah, he basically sounds like a combination of Popeye Sailor Man and Batman, which, if you ask me, does fit his character pretty well. And yeah, I actually liked him as Hugh Jackman, and well, I liked Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine in that movie, Deadpool Wolverine. And yeah, they got the cool looking classic suit back. Oh yeah. Well, I didn't see the movie itself, I saw trailers. But yeah, pretty cool, man. But anyways, what do I think about the game itself? It's awesome, man. Just imagine the X-Men games on the Sega Genesis, except turned up to 11. And yeah, your mutant powers aren't even limited by a mutant gauge. That's awesome. You can basically use the Wolverine claws all you want. Yeah, they're always retracted at all times. You don't even need to rely on some mutant powers or, well, mutant gauge or even life bar as seen in Wolverine on the NES. So yeah, pretty cool. And you also got several moves for each character. And that means you can use the mutant powers all you want. So cool, man. It's cool that they gave you this option. But the downside is that they are hidden away by a button combination. But it is a pretty cool idea, though, implementing a button combination for certain movesets. It's pretty risky for a platforming game. It works in fighting games, but in terms of side-scrollers, it's pretty risky to do. But I'm glad that Capcom did it, and yeah, that boss there was just way too easy once you cheese it. Yeah, I know he's supposed to be big, bad, because he's a robot, but he just seems pretty easy. Yeah, he doesn't look like he transformed, but he got taken out in a few minutes. Oh look, it's the big bad. Yeah, if you use your move, he'll punch you, man, so be careful. You just want to use the basic attacks when you go up against him. But anyways, Batman Forever on the SNES tried out something similar to this, with the button combinations pulling off different moves, but it worked terribly, man. It was executed poorly. Capcom actually did a great job pulling off this button combinations for each moves in X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. And yeah, there's the boss itself, and it's a Sentinel! Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about! I actually want the first boss in any X-Men game to be a Sentinel, because that's the first guy that one of the first robots that the X-Men fought up against, because there's multiple Sentinels in the cartoon itself. Some made of metal, made of plastic, you get the idea. And yeah, he's not going to go down without a fight. Because those Sentinels, they'll always try to seek out mutants. Well, you know how it is, right? They're supposed to help people try to get them away from the mutants, but we all know that mutants are actually pretty good. And yeah, mutants are still people. They deserve just as much respect as we do. Yeah. The strategy is simple. Just dodge the lasers and attack his head. Easier said than done. Because sometimes he'll hit you. But the laser also destroys the enemies. Yeah, you might want to watch out with friendly fire there. Or maybe it is a Sentinel from Master Molds. Yeah, I know who Master Mold is because I watched the show itself. Yeah, the Sentinels don't even take orders from anyone other than Master Mold, aka the Davroffs of the X-Men series. Yeah, I went there. Yeah, he's like the the cyber controller, Davros. And yeah, we defeat the Sentinel. Oh yeah, that's so satisfying. Let's do Gambit stage next. He's always one of my faves. And yeah, I'd be curious to see how they pull off his mutant powers in this game. And if I remember correctly, Gambit wasn't as overpowered as he was in the Sega X-Men games. Although, you can still use the stick as a lower attack if you crouch. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. This game is all trial and error. It's not easy, but who doesn't like a good challenge, am I right? And yeah, the vertical three of a kind, it's kind of hard to pull off as it shares the same button with the scissor kick. So you have to be careful of pulling off, but still a pretty good character to play as. And yeah, he's still got that stick, but it's not overpowered like in the Sega games. And yeah, those guys look like Doom Guy. I do like the character designs they have here. Big muscles and awesome. Capcom really loves making those characters with those big muscles. A lot better than the Sega game in my opinion. And believe me, comic book characters always have to rock on those big muscles, but not too big though. You can't look really ridiculous. Yeah. I just wish they gave you the option to play as Jean Grey instead of Psylocke. I don't remember her having much of a role in the show itself, but she did have a big role in the comics, if I remember correctly. Yes, I watched the show and read the comics. Yeah, you want to pull off that up attack, but it is kind of hard to pull off sometimes. Yeah, Gambit is more balanced than he was in the Sega X-Men games. Gambit was broken in those games, but here it's actually pretty balanced. And you got some platforming, always good to see some challenging platforming. You gotta be careful not to fall off, because unlike in the Sega games, Jean Grey will not help you out here. If you fall off, you lose a life. So good luck. Yeah, I'm guessing Jean Grey decided to take a vacation here. Kind of a shame that she isn't a playable character, or at least Rogue. Rogue is pretty cool. And imagine playing as Jubilee here. Yeah, Jubilee has firework ability. I understand it's weak, but it would be hilarious to see her pull off this game. And don't worry, I believe Jubilee will not destroy any of my electronics when she goes near them. Yep, I've actually made some shielding myself. I've made a certain kind of metal that protects any one of my electronic devices from getting shorted out. Yeah, I've actually went ahead and made a certain kind of silicon and certain kind of metal that protects my electronic devices from being completely destroyed by her mutant powers. Why did I do that? Well, it's because I want you to enjoy what I like to play a lot. And yeah, I basically am pretty smart like that. Yeah. More than just a 90's kid clone, man. Oh man, it looks like we got some more bad guys. Oh! My golly, I'm rusty here. Let's try that again. Oh man! Yeah, you can use the scissor kick. It's pretty effective here, but you would just lower attack the enemies. They wouldn't hit you from below, and you could actually dodge the gunfire here. Oh man. See what I mean?
just crouch and dodge the enemy. Oh crap. Alrighty, I tried again and made sure to pull off the crouch attack off screen. But anyways, onto the boat, and this one is actually a pretty cool boss fight. Yeah, you get to use the vertical free of a kind here. And the strategy here is to basically just dodge the lasers. Yeah, another simple boss fight with a simple strategy. Oh, crap. I didn't dodge the lasers here. Should have been more careful. I'm a bit rusty here. I haven't played this game in a while. But I do like me some X-Men. There we go. Okay. Should do it. Just be careful. Just be careful there. Careful. Oh. Try again. This time I got it for sure. Yeah, just gonna jump on the boat. Yeah, the boat's pretty small. It's like the boat from, well, Fireball Island. Why is it gonna be so small, man? That was a helicopter. And, yeah. Got some cool effects going on here. Definitely put that boat to good use because it's zoomed out. Would have been cool if the helicopter appeared on screen. Yeah. Just dodge the lasers. Yeah, I actually got a game over last time. Yeah. If you lose all your lives, it's game over. But at least this game is more, well, beatable than the X-Men games on the Sega Genesis. You can actually beat it if you know what you're doing. You just need strategy here. Unlike the X-Men games on the Sega Genesis, where they can be relentless at times. Yeah, this is a really awesome game. Just wish that Capcom was responsible for all the Marvel games. Yeah, especially Wolverine Adamantium Rage. I remember raging at that game. And it really brought out the rage in Wolverine, man. Yeah, that game lives up to its name. Wolverine Adamantium Rage. Yeah, just destroyed the lasers, and I'm gonna jump onto the helicopter, and yeah, fight up some more guys. Oh man, that guy's shooting at me. You don't mess with the Cajun butt kicker, man. Yeah, Gambit likes to kick butt. And yeah, I completed the mission. Yes. Now, let's go on with my final thoughts.
So yeah, well, the Super Nintendo only had one X-Men game as opposed to the Sega Genesis having two X-Men games. This X-Men game, in my opinion, beats both of them any day of the week, man. You don't need as many games to be more awesome. Because X-Men Mutant Apocalypse proves to be far superior to the Sega offerings. The best part of all, it got unlimited mutant powers. I've said it before, but it is so awesome that the mutant powers aren't even restricted by a mutant meter. But you do have to pull off some button combinations to use different moves. But it is responsive though, because it's Capcom. Capcom always knows how to pull all the stops when it comes to making great classics. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse on the SNES gets a 9 out of 10. Awesome game. One of the better X-Men games in my opinion. You get to play nearly all the X-Men. Yeah, you get to play as Gambit, Wolverine, Cyclops, and heck, even the Beast is playable. Yeah, Nightcrawler isn't even a playable character this time around. It's the Beast, and believe me, I always liked his personality. He was big and strong. Well, he is big and strong, but he's also smart. Pretty unique combination, if you ask me. And you also get to play as Psylocke. Yeah, didn't let you play as Rogue or Jean Grey or even Jubilee. I understand that you wouldn't want to play as Jubilee because her mutant powers were lame. And she was always a whiny kid, but she's a teenager, what do you expect? Although she's still one of my least favorite X-Men characters, even though she's one of the first you see in the show itself. It's just that any character that is a teenager is always going to be some annoying sidekick. Aside from Spider-Man, Spider-Man is still cool. And Spider-Man actually did away with the whole stereotypical teenage sidekick superhero. He was actually a great character and still is, man. In fact, if I had the opportunity to review Spider-Man Maximum Carnage on SNES, I'd be all in, man. Not a fan of the sequel, Spider-Man and Venom Separation Anxiety. I could have beaten the game, but I didn't have time. I had to make sure I still make these videos for the month of July, because if I wait until after, it'll be too late. Anyways, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse is still an awesome game, and I got to beat 2 levels. Once you know the right strategy and which enemies you expect, I'd think that you'd have a good chance of beating it. In fact, you'll be more likely to beat this game than both of the Sega entries combined. Yeah, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's not an easy game, but whoever says that challenge is not a good thing, it's a good thing to have challenge. If a game is too easy, it's too boring. You actually feel some accomplishment after beating the levels. And once you've beaten the level, you actually feel rewarded. So yeah, it's challenging, but in a good way. So yeah, that does it for my review of X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and if you like to see previous video, it's here, right here. But for now, this is Oliver signing off. Catch you guys next time, and peace out, dudes.